favorite horror movie?
That's a tough one. I think some of my first kind of experiences with movies and watching movies came from my dad. And the old like drive-in theaters, and he was a big horror genre fan, still is to this day. And just last week we were watching these old iterations of like the Alfred Hitchcock Hour.
Okay.
Like the very old school, but it's great to like study shots and things, and they're just it was black and white.
Yeah.
You got all the shadows. It's really cool stuff. But I think the one that kind of stuck with me the most as a kid, that like actually freaked me out a bit at the time, was the original It, the Stephen King one.
Yeah.
Not that I was ever scared of clowns, but I don't know. There was just something about that one that like creeped me out. And,
it's creepy.
Like stuck with me. Like, I finally like went and rewatched it maybe like, in my, early 20s. And it still kind of had that like feeling because I remember being so scared of it as a kid.
Yeah.
What about you?
I know that my sister loved horror movies like as a kid, so she would like want to like rent those like all the time, and I never understood it. Like I was like, why would you want to be scared? Like, but
like what are you gaining from that experience?
Like what is this? But it was really big for her, and so I can remember like kind of seeing them like in the background or like being around them. But I would try to like act all like cool and like, I'd say that they're lame when I was really terrified.
It was uncool to be scared.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to. Yeah.
Or like you would take a girl to a horror movie because you wanted her to be scared and like cuddle up next to you.
It ends up being me.
Yeah.
But she rented The Ring. I remember that one resonated with me because it had all these like images. They had that movie that you like if you watched it, you died in like 7 days or.
Yeah, the original was this like Japanese picture. So it was like, had a lot of like graphics into it. And it was pretty creepy.
Yeah, dude, creepy. And
the girl came out of the TV.
Yeah. To this day, I'm like, oh, like a static on a television is like, oh, like something's gonna happen. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not too into horror movies or getting scared, but the characters are incredible.
Yeah.
Like I love like the villain like characters. Because like what you end up finding is that like it's not them who's bad, like it's their experiences, like
the situation around them, you know. But like you said, like they become so iconic, some of these big horror film villains in our culture.
Yeah.
Well, our next guest is a huge fan of the genre, and he's incorporated many of those aspects into his art.
First, it starts with self. You have to really filter out the bad noise and bring in the good noise. The universe will bring it back to you, and I'm really a fan of that. What you put in the universe will definitely bring back to you.
All right, listeners, welcome back to the Indie LA podcast. Our next guest we have with us, music artist, entertainer, dancer, Kyle Wonder.
Hey. Hello.
Thanks for being on the podcast with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So we want to get right into it. We know that you performed in some talent shows as a kid.
I have.
How'd you get into that? How did music inspire you?
Oh, man. I mean, well, I guess I'm just like all the other entertainers around my age who started doing it, right? We see Michael Jackson on the screen and we go, I want to be just like him. So I definitely, when I was about 3-4 years old, I definitely was a Jackson fan. That's Michael. That's Janet, definitely. That's Prince. I kind of like loved it. My dad was kind of in the music entertainment business, so to speak, being a VJ and producer of his own talent, so he kind of passed it on to me. So it's just kind of like a little bit of both, right? I see Michael, I want to dance, I want to sing like him, save the world. And I see my dad, what son doesn't want to be like their dad in the music business? So put that all in a little rumble and boom, there you got Kyle Wonder. That's how he started.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And can you remember like as a kid performing talent shows? Like what kind of stuff would you do?
Man, I remember, I remember my first karaoke show. It was in the Poconos in Pennsylvania. I sang Mary J. Blige, Real Love.
Wow.
And I remember it was in front of my cousin. It was a dare. And I never would have sang in front of anybody ever before. But I was like, you know what? Let me figure this out. So I did it. And I remember looking straight ahead and seeing my grandmother. She was just so excited. And I was like, wow, I can make my grandmother, because my grandmother wasn't a nice person sometimes. So to see her smile was a really gift of joy.
Oh, wow.
So I was just like, oh my God, I can really see I can do this. I can do this. So I started with that. Then I went to elementary school, junior high school. Of course, I went to performing arts in junior high school. So
Oh, wow.
Okay.
did a lot of Broadway. I was in the acting program, as a matter of fact. So I done did The King and I was a Munchkin in The Wiz.
That's cool.
And then I was Rooster Hannigan and Annie when I was in 8th grade. And the local talent shows, I would dance. Of course, by this time, I didn't really take dance classes. I would just emulate what I see on TV. So any hip hop like Heavy D, Mary J. Blige was one of them. Michael, I would just kind of copy their stuff. I would watch on TV and then I would teach it to other people. Eventually into high school, this became a thing. I started hosting my own talent shows. But singing, I kind of kept in the back way, only because back in those times, the world wasn't as open as it is now. So I struggled a lot with that. And I figured, well, nobody cares about dancers and what they do behind closed doors and their sexuality, so to speak, if I'm being completely transparent. So I focused straight on dancing, dance. So through high school, dance. And then in undergrad, I danced. I would go to school in the day, pursue my degree. And then at night, I would be in rehearsals. I did a lot of my college homecoming shows and a lot of other colleges, homecoming shows, being from New York City, because everything is but that far, right? So I can go next door and go to any college I wanted to. Definitely had experience with that. And then after I graduated undergrad, decided to move to Atlanta from New York City. That's where I'm from, to go pursue dance. So I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And this was the time where So Def was kind of it. So like it was a hot spot, and this is kind of my starting point, I guess, so to speak. And dancing with other artists, you start to get that itch. Well, if they can do it, I can do it. Like, what? I can do this. So I was going back into vocal studio training with my best friend, Redris Bell, who actually produced one of my songs, Famous. He kind of trained us. And eventually long true Hollywood story, but it became 4 of us, 4 guys, Illicit Vice, myself, Sway, AK, and Alex. And we decided to do this pop boy music band thing in Atlanta. And we met this producer, Tedy P, who still works with me now. It's my big brother, who produced Maniac, which I know we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he kind of upgraded our sound because he loved our vibe. He loved what we was discussing, loved what we were talking about. And yeah, like he kind of upgraded us and then told us, like, no, this is not the market for you. The kind of music that you guys are doing, pop music, wasn't really selling in Atlanta. And this is when I started to learn the business side of things. So he said, you have 3 choices: New York, Miami, or LA. At this time, this was 2013. I've never been out here before. Never. Like East Coast don't go to the West Coast on the East Coast. Because I'm from the hood. So they just that Tupac versus thing. That kind of influenced people that didn't, but it really did. But I was like, I'm not going to LA. But I eventually, let me test it out, because my bandmates wanted to come here. So Miami was out, and I was not going back to the snow. So came out here. Okay, I can do this. And then 2 weeks later, which was November 3rd, we moved out here. So November 3rd, this year will be 10 years I lived in LA.
Wow,
right,
amazing.
full decade.
Yeah, and then life happened. Life happened in LA. I think a lot of things we weren't ready for or mentally prepared for, and eventually the group disbanded, and I became a solo act, and I've been marching this dream ever since.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about your experience in the art school. You said when you were in middle school, like you went to one of those. Like, how was that?
I went to performing arts. It was great. I was told that in the education system now, a lot of those arts programs are defunded. And there's just no money for it. But that actually saved my life. Like that creative outlet, because I didn't have a great childhood. I was bullied a lot. I was picked on a lot because I was small, and I attributed it to my mom's feminine side. So it was hard for me, but that kind of kept me out the streets. That kept my mind engaged, because I was always on the right side of my brain. I was a creative, like I said, since I seen the moonwalk. So it kind of kept the juices going and flowing. And when you're around that community, it inspires you to be better and better and better and better and better. So it was actually really dope. I had amazing teachers, dance, drama, singing. I remember the training that went to us when we did these plays. Like, man, oh man, The tears. Imagine being 11, 12 years old. Sing it better. You're singing off key.
Mm-hmm.
That was Mr. Wren. My drama teacher, Miss Walker, she was so dramatic. She's just over the top. But we loved that she was over the top. And now, as an adult, I can appreciate how she taught her methods in drama and acting, and it helped me as a performer, and as an entertainer. And the dance teacher, I was always her little favorite because I can do it all, right? So she would always kind of hold on to me and flip on to me, and I would always make her laugh. So, and her name was Mrs. Rosado. I can't believe I remember these names because that was so long ago. Oh my God, I graduated junior high school in 1999. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is back in the 90s. It was so great, but it attributed to who I am to this day right now. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah, and like I know, like having those teachers that that really had like an impact on you. Mm-hmm. A lot of times that you don't appreciate like their teachings until you are an adult.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's really special. Like I can relate to that too. Like we had a middle school like band director who was like very strict and like had like a lot of rules. And as a 11 and 12-year-old, you're like, why are you like chill? Like, why are you like, so like this way, like so structured and like, but now like I've learned to appreciate like that structure is what like kept me focused. That's what had me bring my horn. I play the saxophone.
Nice.
Had me bring my horn home every day to practice. And that's what sort of led to all these other avenues like in my career. So.
Definitely. And I think, say, if you do, if you can't do, teach. And I remember my music director, Mr. Wren, he would say, I know I'm hard on you guys, but the reason why I'm so hard on you now is so that you don't make the mistakes I made when I was your age back then. Mm-hmm. And you're not where I am. And as hardcore as that was, as sad as that was also very inspiring because here's man, like, I know where I was, I know where I want to be. I know probably this is not where I want to be at this time, but I'm leading another generation to do the things that I couldn't do or handle things I couldn't handle. And I think that, you always want to kind of keep the torch going. And I think a lot of these teachers, especially who care about the kids, they want to teach to keep the torch going and keep it lit, keep it inspiring. So I really thank them. They really helped me because I didn't do performing arts in high school. I went to high school for culinary arts, believe it or not. Oh, really? But I still, I can cook. That's awesome. But I still kept that performing arts heavy inside of me. And that literally those teachings led me up until adulthood. So, yeah,
Yeah, those people are so important.
They very, very important.
Highly underrated.
Very underrated. Mm-hmm. That's why when I heard you're defunding these programs, how like art is indefinite. It will always happen. It will always continue. So how many kids are not able to express themselves artistically now? Where are these teachers to do that to these kids so they can know that there is life in the creative world, there's business, there's money in the creative world, like gets my blood going.
Even just to spark interest in something.
Right.
When a kid doesn't find that interest or something that
that
drives them,
exactly.
it just goes downhill.
And if they don't look for inspiration there, they're gonna go to social media. And as we all know, there are certain things on social media that is not so good to follow. So we need that positivity back, I feel like, and I wish we bring those programs back for the kids. I really do.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, you mentioned moving to Atlanta and understanding a little bit more about the music business when you realized that the genre that you wanted to focus on wasn't the one.
Yeah.
And then coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, you said that the band went their separate ways. Well, how did you keep your torch lit, like as you put it, like
in Atlanta or in LA?
Coming to Los Angeles.
And what inspired you, I guess, to stay here and do your solo thing here in Los Angeles?
So when I moved here, it says 4 of us. Me and the youngest bandmate, Sway, moved here first. We moved to Long Beach, and life was difficult. I was homeless. We were homeless for about 3 months. So imagine 2 people staying in one tiny motel room, just trying to figure things out, because I guess the rental rules out here are different than Atlanta. I can look for an apartment on Atlanta, promove.com, and get an apartment like that. And LA is like, no, deposits, age, you don't have any rental history. And they was just giving us so much flack. And because we look a lot younger than what we are, it was a nightmare. So we had to live first, which is say life happened. And then my other bandmate moved downtown LA. And then my last one moved with us. So that's 3 people in one tiny motel room in Long Beach. On the weekends, I would take the train because I didn't have a car back then, all the way to North Hollywood. And I had to figure out a way into the industry, right? Because we don't know nobody out here. This is literally fresh and brand new. And the only way I knew how to connect to the industry was dance. So I would go to Millennium. I would go to IDA. I would go to what was this other one on? It's this Debbie Reynolds. I would go there and I would see what's happening. Like I would look at to see any dance shows, and I would report back to the group, hey, this is what's going on. Then my other bandmate would go. He worked for Walt Disney. So he would kind of find what was the events to go to, and that's how we would network and kind of go. And I guess that's what kept the torch lit, that hope to kind of go. And then eventually we got a show. It's just this program called Raw Artists. They gave us the opportunity to perform in Silver Lake. So that was our big show, and we prepared for that. We found a choreographer, and that was good. And then things weren't so good. Then bandmates start leaving because LA is a very unique place. It's very who you know. It's very superficial. And it's very, if you're not associated with the right clique, you're not taken as serious, or it's a lot mentally, especially coming from, because a lot of my bandmates were from Georgia or from the South. So they're not used to kind of this high speed and this hustle, as I would like to say. And, I'm from New York. So this is just another version of hustle, right? Like I've seen it all. So I can handle it. Of course, another one of my bandmates is from Philly. He can handle it, but the ones from the South necessarily, no. So it just became problematic, and it just started going. And then some of us got involved into some narcotics and it became toxic. So they couldn't handle the pressure. And, I took it on my own. I went back again to my junior high school teachings and my inspiration from the people I aspired to be. And I never wanted to be a solo artist, never, because I knew it was so much being a solo artist. It's so much being a solo artist that does pop music, that is Black, and that is queer. So I had so many challenges and so many people. And at this time, Todrick Hall was really starting to take the percent. This is before Lil Nas X was even thought of. But I remember the flack that he got so much with being Todrick, with being who he is versus who he now. He's a legend, right? And I was so nervous. Like, I don't want to be compared to that. I don't want people to box me in. I don't want people to shut me out. I just want to heal the world the way I know how to heal the world. I want to inspire people, to get through the storm, because the first couple of months out here weren't easy. It was very hard and difficult. And, that was my motivation. And then eventually we left Long Beach. I got to LA, and I done been all over LA, all the way up to Palmdale, back down to Alhambra, to North Hollywood, Sherman. I've been everywhere here, and the music has been the focus. So that's where I've been. And I actually went back to school. I went back to school in 2018 because I was hitting a lot of walls in desperation, and I knew the business from the streets. I didn't know the business from the books.
Sure.
So I went to go study music business at Los Angeles College of Music in Pasadena. And I got my degree, of course. And now you can't mess with me because I know the books and I know the streets. So, and I'm an artist. And that's very rare because a lot of us artists, we focus so much on the creative side, which is the right side. We never go to the left because this is what we pay people for, right? Management and labels and stuff. But no, as years go by, you start to realize.
The side they almost don't want you to.
Right, they don't. Right, they want you to kind of be ignorant to it, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how they make money off of you, right? Why you should know this. Let me do this for you and charge you for this. When no, this is your business. You're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I am my label. I am the face of my label. So just like they run Coca-Cola, just like they run craft products, just like they run Eminem and Mars, they have to run Kyle the brand. So it taught me how to really look at myself as an independent label and source. And that's where I am. So yeah.
Well, let's dive into the brand a little bit. Yeah.
What do you want to know?
Talk to us about the House of Kayo.
The House of Kayo. Those are my dancers. So in queer culture, especially in the Black and Brown community, as we can see with the recent show of success of Pose, we have houses, right? This is because back in old times, a lot of us, that was coming out, again, the world didn't accept us, right? So A lot of us were homeless in the street. Especially I know New York City. A lot of us lived in the village, lived kind of anywhere on park benches to go because we were shunned out by our families because of the sexuality that we have inside of us because of who we were. And these houses was formed to create safe spaces for people, Black and brown queer communities spaces. And eventually the houses, they would go and they would compete in these ballrooms. And I'm so happy that I was around. I caught the tail end of it, but I've seen so many balls in my life.
Really?
Yes, definitely. I've seen them in person. So when the show Pose came on, I was like, wow, I remember when I would go to Harlem and I would watch a ball. I remember when I would see the House of Ebony, the House of Balenciaga, the house of a lot of houses. And I like that was so inspiring because not only they perform and they make their profit money doing so, but when you hang out with them, they are definitely a house, like a house mother, a house father, and house children. They act like siblings, and this is their external family. So I kind of want to take that concept and bring it in for my dancers, because just like me, they are artists, they are creative, and they deserve some of the spotlight like I'm getting because they are working just as hard, if not harder than me. So we treat it like a family, and you can kind of feel that whenever you see us perform. It's so great. So that's where the House of Kayo came from. So it's never just, oh, Kayo's dancers. No, they're brand. They're the House of Kayo. So yes. Yeah. And I'm the house father. We have beats.
Oh,
Shout
awesome.
out to PBS for making our beats for us. She definitely did. So yeah, it's a hit.
Well, I like watching a lot of your work because it is such a performance, you know? You are very much an entertainer, not just a singer, you know? You have the dancers, you have the show, the choreography. You know, it's a whole production.
And the message. Don't forget the message.
And the message.
Yes, I'm always going to be around to uplift you. I'm always going to be around to give you confidence. I'm always going to tell you that you matter because right now we are in very dangerous, dark times, especially with the emergence of the internet and then the emergence of social media. There's so much social comparison going on and so many people who are feeling low because they're watching the highlight of other people's lives and they're internalizing this as like, well, I wish I was that. I wish I was this. And you know, we can't do that. So I'm here to remind you that you are a special piece. You are a gem. And I'm going to give you that attitude. I'm going to give you that confidence. And I'm going to you're going to walk out of my show feeling very inspired to be who you are and not being apologetic about it at all. On top of the dancing, on top of the singing.
Yeah.
But that's the message. Yes. Feel good about yourself. I'm here to uplift you. Definitely.
That's cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know that Michael Jackson is one of your influences.
Yes.
Who other than him? I mean, I can't think of somebody who was like bigger on like the group choreography. Like, I know that there was dance choreography before, but
aside from Michael, when it comes to dance or when it comes to singing, because they're one and the same. We have entertainers, but we have people that are strictly left and we have people who are strictly
sure. Let's talk about dancing.
Right, dancing wise. I like Chris Brown a lot. I think his talent is immaculate. And I hate that he gets so much ridicule because of his mistakes. He's human, just like the rest of us, right? And I'm not justifying what he does because wrong is wrong and right is right, but you can't take away the man's talent. You can't take away the fact that this man is over 6 feet tall and can backflip in a heartbeat. And when he was younger, coming out hungry, I think he's awesome. I think Ciara is amazing as a performer, as an entertainer. Kind of sad that she took the route to be, you know, Russell's wife and be domesticated, but she still kind of does her own thing and she's bad. Mm-hmm. She's just so bad. And I think the person who was the closest to our time, I love Miss Carter. She's Beyonce. Like she can give it to you. And what I love about her, especially in current times, is she went back to the Black and brown queer community and used that as a source for her next project. And definitely when you went to go see it, because I went to the Renaissance World, so I went to it in Atlanta, you can feel that sense of community, that house feeling when we was there. And I think that though no artist would ever think to do what she's done, and I think she's just so incredible. And I think under her would be Janelle Monáe. Just incredible, just a whole show, not just the music, not just the dancing. I'm just going to do a 1-2 step. No, I'm giving you an experience. I'm going to give you everything of my soul. And I think they kind of, all those artists mentioned kind of embody that. Yeah. So I use that as inspiration. I can step on those lines too, and I'm going to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are also very much entrepreneurs as well.
Yes.
So that, you know.
Yes. It's all about the brand. That's what we are now. It's not just about music anymore. It's music, it's your personality, it's your message, it's the clothing you sell, it's what you say, it's where you go, it's what you do. You are literally, like I said, you're a walking Coca-Cola can. So,
well, I know you talked about kind of the dark side of social media a little bit and how negative and draining that can be.
Sometimes.
How do you manage, I guess, then the flip side of that with trying to promote a brand and all these different things in a show?
Well, I think you have to really first, it starts with self. You have to really filter out the bad noise and bring in the good noise. And then if you're an advocate for good noise and you're able to push good noise, you push the good noise with the good noise so you can get greater noise back. So, with the trolls, as they would say, just, everybody can say what they want on the internet, but, they don't know you. You don't know them. Some people are just doing it just because they're unhappy in their lives or they haven't healed properly and they're just so frustrated that they can't be where you are. So they have to attack you and they can't understand what or how you are becoming this phenomenon that you are. So they try to bring you down. And once you realize that, you start not to take things personal. And, when you realize also that on social media, nobody ever tells you the bad parts about their story. They only highlight the good parts, right? They only tell you, oh, yeah, I've been to Ibiza. Yeah, I've been to, I don't know.
You're looking at their best life, their best life.
So, yeah, I've been to Greece, but I'm not going to tell you for that trip to Greece, I had to starve for 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been to, I don't know, Jamaica, but I'm not going to tell you I had to work 17 doubles to get that trip to Jamaica. Yeah, you see me performing as Kyle Wonder, you see me performing and being happy and successful, but you don't see the dark days. You don't see when I'm in self-doubt. You don't see when my mental illness is at its peak. I don't show that side. Well, sometimes I do because I'm just very transparent. And, sometimes I'm just an honest person. So whatever I feel in my spirit, I'm going to post. But I'm always going to flip it and make it motivational. But I'm still not going to show you the dark sides when it's hard to get out of bed. I'm not going to tell everybody, about us being homeless in Long Beach and when we first started and where a lot of source of this music comes from, or a lot of no's that get slammed in my face or shut, just a lot of those things. Or I'm not going to tell you my adversity. I'm always going to tell you my triumphs, my accomplishments. So once that realization comes, you start to look at social media differently. Okay, well, oh, that's great. I don't know the story there is to get there, so I can't put my life to theirs, but I'm happy for them. Oh, that's great. They're doing this, they're doing that. Oh, maybe I can use that inspiration. Maybe I can get there too. Oh, that's great. Well, my time will come. And I feel like once you really start to do that and push that, I don't know how Instagram knows this is the algorithm, but you start getting messages that goes on your feed that kind of attributes to this mindset that you have, and it keeps you kind of going and going. And then sometimes you have to learn when to log off and shut it out and enjoy life as opposed to just posting about it. So that's how I kind of conquer that.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it's kind of like you put that good energy out into the universe and, that mindset out, and it attracts, those types of people.
It'll come back. Yep. Yeah. The universe will bring it back to you. And I'm really a fan of that. What you put in the universe will definitely bring back to you. It may take longer than some, right? Because karma can be good. Karma can be bad. Yes, the bad karma comes a little bit faster than the good one, but the good karma comes and it goes. So,
well, everything you went through coming out here, the band breaking up, all those things, was there kind of one thought or one idea or one goal that you feel like really helped you keep pushing forward and to get to where you are now?
I wanted to be to somebody what Michael Janet was to me growing up. Again, anxiety, depression, mental illness is at its peak, right? Especially the bad parts of it. And I know that there's a little kid somewhere in the world who is probably bullied because of his truth, because he or she or they, what they are, how they are, there's still a lot of fights to accomplish and or a lot of fights to fight. And I want to be that source of inspiration for that individual, like my people were a source of information for me, because it literally saved my life. So I want to be able to have the person, if they ever self-doubt themselves or ever think about hurting or harming themselves, wait, look at Kyle, look what he's been through. I can push on, I can move forward, I can continue on. If he can do it, then I can do it. Just like I said, if they can do it, I can do it. So that has been the diehard source of inspiration in my spirit. that's been my testimony, to really reach out and touch that person's heart and make them live on a day and let them know that they are valued. And even in my darkest moments, my darkest times, I think about that one kid. I go back to myself as being a little kid, and I think about that one kid and not hold on.
Well, let's talk about your project Maniac and how that what inspired that project.
Halloween, 1 year anniversary, right?
The 1 year anniversary of Maniac. So I have a songwriting team, Emily and Alex. Shout out to those two. That song actually was a joke. I had the lyrics already written. The source of the inspiration for those lyrics, as you guys know, I'm a horror fanatic. My favorite movie anthology of all time is Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
So I'm a Freddy Krueger fanatic. Robert Englund is. I would probably pass out if I was to ever meet him in person, right? So I wrote that song based off of me attempting to be him. Because, in the movie, he's the son of 1,000 maniacs. Maniac. So if you listen to the lyrics, it's literally me becoming Freddy Krueger. And my co-songwriter, Emily, was like, well, no, let's kind of put a little innuendo in here and let's make it kind of sexual. And I'm like, I don't know. So we finessed it and did it, and we wanted it to be an EDM song. So I took this song after I got it. Okay, well, we did a demo for it. I'm not too mad at this song. Let's go to the lab. So fly to Atlanta. Here goes Tedy. Tedy, here's the song Maniac. Okay, what's the song about? It's about me telling the person, or the author is telling this person, I'm about to give it to you like nobody's business in this bedroom, like I'm a maniac. And but the lyrics, I said, yes, the lyrics looks like something, but this is the innuendo behind it. He was like, okay, well, what do you have? He's like, I want it to be kind of dark. I want it to be kind of EDM. He said, okay, pop, no. What do you mean no? I think we should make this a rock EDM song. Rock, EDM. Okay, sure. So again, I've known Tedy for like 12, 13 years. So whenever this producer tells me, do it, okay, do it. So he produces this beat right in front of your face, everything from scratches. And when I heard the final layout, wow, this is so incredible. And the finishing touches of that song, we needed a guitar. There was no guitar in it. Everything was great, but just no guitar. And going to music school, Los Angeles College of Music, and having my co-songwriter Alex was in a band, High Society Homeless. His guitar player, Sebastian, can rip. So call Sebastian. Sebastian, I need you on this record. Sebastian killed it, as you hear. And wow, boom. Maniac sounds great. This is great. This is great. This is an ode to Halloween. Okay, how do you put this out? So later on, music video comes. It's October. I want to do a music video. What do you do? Well, I can't do Freddy Krueger because I'm not walking around LA in this hot red sweater. So that's not happening. So what do you love the most about, aside from Freddy Krueger, Kyle, what else fancies you? I love vampires. Vampires are very passionate, very intimate. And I love the whole WB series, or CW, sorry. The CW series, when they introduce different factions. So you got vampires, werewolves, hybrids, and witches. And I wanted to include all of that in this vision. And that's how the storyline kind of started. And I think when I sent this to the creative director of the video, Endo, shout out to Endo Hayes, she said, okay, I have the perfect thing. How about we make this like they did in the movie, what's this movie? From Dusk Till Dawn. So here we go, a stranger walks into this place and he's looking for a particular person, not realizing that you're walking into a vampire coming. And you got all these people that are here looking to see Kyle Wonder perform. But here goes this individual coming in to look specifically for me. And here I go, performing until the strike of midnight. And one of the waiters closes the door. They flip, become vampires, and they eat the people that are there. And lovely as it is, there's always a behind message on every music project video that I do. This one was, be careful how you treat people because they may treat you back. So if you look in the video, a lot of these patrons are treating their servers like crap. Like they're completely like, just move out my way, disregarding them, devaluing them. And, in real life, a lot of that happens, right? We look at waiters or servers as second best, right? Oh, you're serving me with me, right? You just take them for granted. So, okay, you're going to take us for granted. Now we're going to eat you. So that's the whole kind of purpose of that and point of that. And I think the beauty of that storyline is me and Sebastian. Sebastian is the guy who is looking for me with the long curly hair. I'm sure if you've seen the music video. He's actually the person who does the guitar on the player, right? And I think nobody saw it coming that he was a werewolf. And as we know in history, the only thing that can kill a vampire is a werewolf bite. So we kind of fix that and go there and work with that story. And then the sheriff is in the video, right? So you would expect the sheriff to kind of help, but it's always the sheriff's town. And I kind of want to stick to that old Western theory, like this is my town, my town, my town, and use her. And somebody asked me, why is her eyes, out of everybody in the storyline, her eyes are the only eyes that are green? Because she's a hybrid. She's a werewolf and a vampire. And you know you can't kill them. So she's a sheriff for a reason. So while I'm siring everybody, she sires me. And I think that was such an ideal, great storyline. And it was just fun to do and fun to create. That was the first fight scene that I had. I was great choreography there. And it was a really fun experience. I love that music video. That was probably my most favorite one to date.
Cool.
Yeah.
Orange skies take over the day. Sinister looks my way. Been in the dark for so long. Your hunger is what I crave. Touch your sanity gone. 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 Touch your sanity gone.
I personally love the video, and I love Vampire. I mean, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was my favorite show growing up. My whole family watched it together.
Yes.
But I guess there's something about vampires, too, that are kind of a little bit mysterious, a little bit sexual, you know, which kind of fits.
And go back to the message of the innuendo of the song. Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I did that.
And watching the video reminded me, I don't know about you, but growing up, like we used to always watch like the top 10 music videos and stuff. And I feel like music videos before used to be like almost like short films. Yeah, there was like a story. There was like it set a tone.
Yep.
I was thinking about even to go back to Michael Jackson. Like if you watch the Thriller music video,
yep.
You know, it's very much a story. Like him and his girl coming out of the movies. They just saw a horror film.
Yep.
Like, oh, what did you think? Did it scare you? And then all of a sudden, like everyone's a zombie.
Doom, doom. Yep.
And she's running into the house. You know, and then it cuts to like him waking her up like, oh, it's time to go home. Like it was all this like nightmare dream that she had from seeing the movie. Like there's a whole story involved, and it reminded me so much of that. So I really enjoyed it.
Definitely a source of inspiration. You know, anything Michael does to me, he's just my golden Midas. Everything he does is just like blueprint and study and observe. But yes, definitely a storyline. Definitely wanted to feel that way and give it a tribute to past music videos, past projects, because nobody does storylines anymore. It's just like, look at me. It's
like, yeah, it's me lip syncing my song. Right. This location cut to, another pretty location.
Right. And how boring is that? Yeah. Like, I don't want to do that. No, I definitely want to do that. I want you to watch the video. I want you to scratch your head to figure out what's going on, because that's going to make you go back and watch the video again to see what you missed. And I'm pretty sure the people that's listening to here had probably no idea that the sheriff was a hybrid, had no idea that the guy was a werewolf, even though it kind of shows. So they're going to go back and watch it, which helps me out because that gives me more views.
Sure.
So everything is strategically done.
And even if you turn down the volume.
Yeah. And just watch the video. Yeah.
It's a story happening.
It definitely is.
I really enjoyed it.
Definitely fun. Thank you. That's my jig. I love that. That's my thriller.
Yep.
That's my thriller. So yeah, definitely.
Speaking of Thriller, a couple years back, I dressed as Michael in the opening scene of that. I had the Letterman jacket, nice. With the red and the gold sleeves, and I had to buy a separate M, and I stitched it on there. And I mean, he's just wearing like basic. He just has a flannel underneath and like jeans, and like, dude, nobody got it.
No,
like
really?
a couple of like the older guests at the party, like they were like, "Oh, are you Michael Jackson from Thriller?" And I was like, "Yeah." I didn't have like the werewolf thing. But I do remember having like contacts because for like a quick second he has like the yellow eyes like but they like were like burning my eyes. I didn't end up wearing them, but do you have like a favorite like costume?
I got one for you.
Yeah.
So I actually went when he turned into zombie form. It was 2014 for Halloween.
The red leather and everything.
I wore I had the pants.
Yeah.
I had the jacket. It was a cutoff like jacket because it's leather. I'm not wearing leather in LA. It's too hot.
Yeah.
But it took me 4 hours to put the makeup all over my body. I blackened everything out.
Yeah.
And I scared a lot of little kids. A lot of people got it. So they didn't was like, well, I'm confused. But I walked down Hollywood Boulevard like that and I'll show you. They was looking at me, oh my God.
Yeah.
So that was probably my favorite Halloween costume when I did Michael Jackson's Thriller. The demon side when he did the dun dun. Yeah, that part. Like I went all out. Like all out was so much fun. You'll see. You're gonna look at me like, whoa. And to take that off, I had to clean my shower right after that because it was just green and black, just stains everywhere. Just oh God, it was so crazy.
I had a scenario for you. A few weeks back, a friend of mine like showed me this meme with the caption: "One artist from these four you had to get rid of. Like you can't listen to their artists anymore. Like who is it going to be?" I know it's tough. I'm going to change it up a little bit for you because I'm hearing your influences. But so the 4 photos: Michael Jackson, Prince, Beyonce, and Whitney Houston. Yours, I'm gonna change because I feel like he's been like a more influential for you. But instead of Whitney, let's do Chris Brown. Somebody you gotta pick. You gotta pick one.
So out of all 4, so say the 4 again.
Michael Jackson, Prince,
Beyonce,
Chris Brown.
This is totally
can't hear their music anymore.
Is this like you gotta marry one?
No, just their music. Just their music. It's done. You can't hear it. It's wiped from the face of the earth.
Breezy, I'm so sorry. I know I just gave you praise, but Chris, you gotta go. If it's Prince, I can't. I can't. That's Prince. I just my whole style is from that man, so I can't. You already know Michael ain't going nowhere, and unfortunately, I can recite every one of single Beyonce songs from start to finish. So, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. That's why I call her. She's my cousin. Prince is my father. That's when he had a relationship with Janet because Janet can't sleep with Michael and has me. It'd be a little weird. So that's Prince is my creative daddy. Michael is my creative godfather. So you can't take him anywhere. Yeah, Chris. You're my friend, but you gotta go. Sorry, clip. Yeah. I love you. I do, but I do, but friend, you gotta go.
Well, what are you working on recently?
So this year we've been focusing a lot on performance. My team and I go on the shows. I have 9 music videos out, a full album, and 4 singles. That's a lot. Wow, so we kind of took a step break.
And you're doing like choreography.
Yeah, choreography, dance breaks, and those videos are not cheap. So we took a step back and we said the year 2023, now that everything is kind of open back up, COVID is still around, but COVID is not the frontal and the world is back to what we almost remember it to be. Get out there and get fans the old fashioned way. So I've been focusing on performances this year, and I can say this year alone I've had more performances than my entire career as an entertainer, and that goes back to dancing, choreography, group artists into a solo act. I've performed at more shows this year than any. So that's when I say when you put it out there, the universe will bring it back to you. Mm-hmm. So the universe has been really, really kind to me, and it's still going and flowing because I've been hitting it. And this is not like 3-4 minute shows. This is like 15, 20, 30 minute shows. I did the Strawberry Festival in Santa Maria back in April. Mm-hmm. I had 3 sets, 30 minutes each, 3 times a day. It was tough, outdoor. And Santa Maria is a little colder than LA. So the last show, it rained. It was very airy outside, but we put on one hell of a show. So, and every show has opened a door to another. That's opened a door to another. That's opened a door to another. So I've been performing everywhere. So hopefully I can bring more into LA. A lot of doors have been slammed in my face out here, but it's okay. They'll catch up. The universe will open the doors for me. Or matter of fact, no, the universe gave me a Lowe's credit card, so I go to Lowe's and I build my own damn door, and
Yeah, there you go.
there you go. Bring it there. So,
well, speaking of opening doors, how do you like as an artist know like which door to walk through? Because I'm sure like there's a lot of opportunities. Like, how do you pick which path like best like serves your interests?
well, that's a great question. First, I guess the left side of my brain. Okay, is this your target audience? Will they receive your message very well? Look at the people around you. Are they intrigued? Will they be intrigued? Will they be offended? Will they be uncomfortable? If the answer is no or a negative answer, then I respectfully have to decline and pass. If the answer is a slight yes, then absolutely I will go. Instinct is very important to me. I feel like that's the way kind of God communicates with me. So God will tell me when it's a yes, and he'll tell me when it's a no. Okay, here we go. You got a show here. The prophet may not be great, but the exposure is amazing. Yes. Here you go. The prophet is great, but the exposure is just not for you. No. Those are people that are not going to follow me. That's not my tribe, right? So why waste their time, right? Then okay, here's the prophet, here's the exposure. Yes. So I internalize it. I have a group discussion about it with my business manager. Shout out to Ghost, who happens to be my dad. We have a conversation about it. He gives me the real deal. Okay, this is what you got. I would say yes, but you do what you want. This is your business, this is your company. I'm just here to help you out. This is a yes, this is a no. Okay, we'll go. Talk to my assistant creative director. Shout out to French. That's his house name, or Felix. Let's yes, no. So I kind of go through that ordeal with that. My spirit, and ask my resources outside of my company, then I go forward.
Okay.
But most of the things I will say have been pretty good. I think the universe has been protecting me really well. So there have not been a lot of no's because they've been really legitimate and authentic, and I just treat it as such.
It sounds like you surround yourself with people that you trust too, to help you kind of go through that list in a logical way to check the boxes, as opposed to just going with the emotions.
A support system.
I think part of as an artist, you have to really, especially now, you have to authentically know your brand and who you are. Because if you don't, and if there's slight hesitation or slight doubt, people out there will try to tell you who you are. And there's only so much charades that can go on. And I think some of these artists that are out here some are authentically who they are, some are who people want them to be. And eventually, you can't lie forever. It'll catch up to you. So a lot of these people burn out, or they just kind of go dead, right? Because they're following the trend as opposed to establishing their own identity and who they are. And I think my influencer has been authentically who they were, even when the whole world didn't see them for who they were. They've been authentically who they were. So I kind of carry that. And when you authentically yourself and you know who you are and you know your brand, the people that come to you will know your brand, respect your brand, and they're able to help push the message of your brand, authenticate your brand more. They know you in and out, and I think that is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
So I stick to that. And I go to my house, I go to my label, carry the brand, and I have that. So definitely.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, where can everybody see your stuff, hear your music, see your performances?
What's coming next?
Yes, Laughing Unicorn. Okay, so I have a website, KailaTheBrand.com. I think that's very essential for artists. I have a website. But just in case, you can follow me at all social media platforms. I am most active on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is my baby. So that's at KAO_WONDER. You can definitely follow me there. And in my bio, you'll see my website. You'll see my YouTube page. And then you'll see what I have going on activity-wise. Same thing with Facebook, KAO_WONDER. Same thing for Twitter. I'm sorry, it's called X now. KAO_WONDER. Same thing for Threads. Same thing for TikTok. You can follow me everywhere there. Send me a DM. Love you. Subscribe to my mailing list because we send some goodies. Definitely. I like to do a lot of playlists. So I think coming out, the holiday season is coming up. And I know for us suffering with mental illness, loneliness, and depression kind of peaks during Q4. So I'm creating this playlist to kind of ease the mind and spirit. And again, keep the love inside of you so it doesn't go away. Because suicide really affects me internally a lot, and I can do as much as I can to prevent it. So that's my goal for my fans and for the people who love me. And it's not a lot, but it's much, you know, it's a little token of good. And I also have merchandise. So you can get a t-shirt with my logo on it or the house logo on it, because everybody loves the House of Kyle. It's this diamond that everybody just cannot get enough of. Yeah. I have a whole hat. I have like this Kyle one in fancy font. So cool. And everybody's like, oh, that's cute, but who is this House of Kyle thing? Yeah. So everybody kind of loved that. So you can definitely get a House of Kyle t-shirt, backpack, phone clip, phone case, anything you name on my website as well. So
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear the playlist that you're building. And
it's fun.
See some shows.
It's very emotional. And the shows, yeah, man. And I really love the production on any shows that I do, because I always think outside the box, and I always pay homage to my community, whether it be queer community, whether it be Black and brown community. I always pay homage to that. So it's a party. It's just a party. I think that's what they told me in Santa Barbara Pride. You are always a party starter. You are the life of the party, and we're just so happy to know you. Makes my heart kind of flush. So
yeah, it's awesome.
But definitely
keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
More to come.
Oh yeah.
Kyle, thanks so much for being on the episode.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure having you.